All right, this is just a quick message. The video you're about to watch, I just finished reacting to it, but I just watched another video that went into more detail about Cassie's her testimony, and it was worse than I thought. Like the stuff that they were asking her and her responses, especially about the guy that was doing the #1 on her, also Diddy doing the #1, and just saying like this is the stuff that he wanted to happen, and she couldn't say no because of how angry and violent he can get is bad. I'm mentioning this now because I didn't uh talk about like, and I still really can't, about the detail of like the graphic details, I should say. Just letting y'all know that I've seen the videos y'all probably seen too. I just can't show it. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel again. Thank y'all so much for coming over. Cassie has taken the stand. This video right here, this title is expected, especially with her being pregnant. Cassie Ventura breaks down on witness stand amid freak-off's testimony. Now, again, she is probably one of the people that was the closest to Diddy during all this time. I know she's seen a lot, had to do a lot. They're just trying to figure out, again, what is consensual and what's not. My whole thing is, if you think about Diddy in that time frame, extremely powerful, on top of the world, had, what do you call them, the gatekeepers, because she had said something about, I remember when she, in the lawsuit, just, how a lot of artists talk about blackmail and just all that stuff. So I know she probably felt like she had to do these things. Because some people, you see comments where people say, "Oh, she's just a bad. She loved doing this stuff. She this and she that." Like people don't really understand how it works. Those are just trolls. But we're gonna check this video out. I'm on ABC News. I've been waiting and waiting to see. This video was uploaded an hour ago. But yeah, I'm just trying to. I know it's gonna be a lot of words in here that I can't show. One of my other videos, The Breakfast Club, I had to re-edit it because YouTube was gonna take it down. So we ain't gonna waste some more time. Let's jump right into it.
Star witness Cassie Ventura taking the stand today in a New York courtroom hearing trial of Sean Diddy Combs. This trial's marked the first time Ventura and Combs are seeing one another in person since their 2018 split. Federal prosecutors claim Combs used lies, drugs, threats, and violence to coerce his ex-girlfriend into encounters with mutes. Ventura said the encounters typically lasted between 36 to 72 hours, the longest one lasting 4 days. Ventura is currently married and pregnant with her third child. She told the jury today about how the hip-hop mogul controlled her life and their relationship. All 5 charges
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I ain't gonna be able to play that. Basically, Cassie was saying all the things Diddy used to do to her, like physically. Um, so it seems like, she was trying to keep him happy, not upset him because he could get violent, as we seen in that video. Yeah, and again, I'll say it again, that, he's not being charged with the domestic stuff, but it's just crazy how they say it. His team is admitting to it. They're saying like all of this stuff that's being alleged against him, like they're saying with the domestic stuff, like, yes, you know what I mean? Because he's not being charged with that. So it, it just blows my mind, man. They're like, yeah, he did that. But I mean, he's not being charged for that. So that
facing, including racketeering, conspiracy, trafficking by force, and transportation to engage. A warning for our viewers, this story may contain accounts, descriptions, visual content of actual or alleged events that some viewers may find disturbing. So for more now, let's bring in ABC's Rena Roy live from outside the courtroom, along with ABC News legal contributor and trial attorney Brian Buckmeyer. Rena, we will begin with you. Cassie Ventura, of course, on the stand most of the day. She's talking in graphic detail at times about her participation in these freak-offs. So what did we learn so far today?
Yeah, Trevor, very graphic indeed. I can tell you that I got a chance to listen to her testimony inside court here behind us, and she was emotional. She broke down into tears at one point when she talked about participating in those freak-offs. She says that she was just 22 years old, had just turned 22 when Combs first proposed to her those drug-fueled sex marathons with escorts. She says eventually, though, they became almost weekly, and that they lasted on average, as you said, about 2 to 3 days, the longest one 4 days, and that she stayed awake by drugs that she says Combs gave to her, including ecstasy, cocaine, and Molly. She testified that those freak-offs made her feel dirty and worthless, but that she felt like she did not have a choice but to participate because she says Combs would become violent with her. As he pointed out, she says that and that she didn't know what would happen if she didn't do what he wanted her to do. She told the jury that she tried to express her feelings about participating, but in at least one text message shown to the jury, Combs told her to make it happen anyway. Trevor?
Brian, given how emotional and explicit all this testimony is, what kind of strategy do you think we might see from the defense attorneys in cross-examination?
So I think the defense is going to try to move away from the emotion and some of the more explicit terminology that we're seeing in this case and try to go for a much more logical argument that they're making, that Sean Combs participated in domestic violence, allegations that would rightfully so be attributed to state charges, but that there was no racketeering conspiracy. They're based on jealousy, infidelity, and just anger. And so I think that's the angle they're going to take. But some of the testimony, as Rena pointed out, and just how Cassie is on the stand, that's going to be a very hard argument to distinguish between the different types of force and how they were used.
So, Rena, Diddy is there in court. He's watching all this testimony from his ex-girlfriend. There's also many of his own family members there. Did we see any kind of reaction from Diddy today?
Good question.
Right. For the most part, he appears to be pretty focused on Cassie Ventura, his ex-girlfriend. He is listening intently. At one point, we saw him scribble down some notes and speak to his attorney, but other times he appears to be more passive with his hands in his lap at the defense table with not really a certain kind of expression on his face. She, on the other hand, has not appeared to look at him once since she took the stand. She has looked at her husband, who is inside court to support her. Remember, this is the first time that Combs and Ventura are seeing each other face to face since 2018, so you can imagine how this might feel for both of them.
Brian, how do you imagine this might land with the jury hearing all of this extensive testimony of this nature?
So I think at this point with direct examination, without anyone coming up and crossing Cassie, I think the jury is looking at Sean Combs, and I was in court this morning to see some of those looks with disgust, with disdain, to think about how one individual can do this to another in this way. And so I think it's going to be a high hill or even a mountain for the defense to kind of walk this case to the jury to suggest that, yes, Sean Combs, as Tenny Garrigo said in opening statements, has done some indefensible things, but it's a matter of what he's being charged with and what he did. A very difficult distinction because I think earlier on in her testimony, it seemed much more about domestic violence. Now we're starting to see the allegations and some of the facts that bleed by force, fraud, and coercion, and that enterprise, that criminal enterprise that the government alleged is surrounding Sean Combs' inner circle. Because when she looked at some of those photos of the security guards, the chief of staff, at least for me, as I sat in that courtroom, I could hear the tone of her voice change. I can see her body language change, and you can see that she had some very particular feelings of maybe even fear in describing some of these individuals. And I think that's really proven the case for the government.
Brian Buckmeyer and Rena Roy, both with that in-court perspective. Thank you.
Ooh-wee. and I know they really couldn't really go into detail. My whole thing is this. I said that video shows what he's capable of. And then Cassie's testimony saying all the things she's saying, when you tie that in, even though he's not being charged for what he's being charged, people on the jury, whether you think it's fair or not, are going to be like, I think he might have forced her to do these things. She was scared, intimidated by the repercussions of, of saying no. Like if she's saying all that stuff was happening, even that one guy who came, to do what he did with Cassie and Diddy, with Diddy watching or whatever, he even said he witnessed Diddy doing that to her. Just from off of that, I find this extremely difficult for Diddy to try to get up out of. I'm trying to react to this stuff as fast as possible as it comes out. So this is only one side. Still, this is from the prosecutor. Still got to see what the defense is going to do. Because that right there is going to probably make her extremely emotional. Because they're going to try to break her down. Yeah. Again, as this come out, I'll try my best to cover the best way possible. Because like I said, it's certain word. If you go and watch any other YouTuber reactor, you'll notice they'll probably be cutting out words too. Certain things you can't say. It sucks, but it's like, what's the point of doing a video if you can't even have it up? It's just a waste of time. But with the whole, I can't even say it, but the guy doing the number one on her, she's saying like this is all Diddy's direction, because she couldn't tell him no. Let me read some of the comments here. No man that loves a woman will force her to participate in those actions. Yeah, and I keep forgetting, because it's like it's not televising them. I keep forgetting that the kids are in there. His kids are in there. They had said they had left out. I think they came back, but like the kids are hearing all. I'm just wondering, how are they looking at him? Even the grown ones. How are they looking at him? With all this stuff, like seeing Cassie, like there's a point, where you were cool with Cassie. You're probably seeing her. I'm talking about like the boys. You were cool with Cassie probably at one point, and you're seeing that happen. And I know Kim Porter's name has probably come up too. So it's like, it's a lot of stuff that these kids are probably hearing not for the first time, but they could be on their phone at home watching videos, but to actually be in court and have this stuff said, and like the people in there get to see their body language, see their faces as this stuff is being said, it's like different. I just feel like right now it's hard. It's just hard to say because I gotta see what the defense is gonna do, because I don't know when that's gonna happen. Because they were saying that, they're trying to hurry up and get her because she's supposed to be due pretty soon. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-mm-mm. A lot of people I see in the comments feel a lot of people ain't getting it. They're thinking it's easy for her to just leave. They don't understand. But hey, appreciate y'all coming over and watching. Peace out.